Hi, everyone. Today we're talking about trauma and sexuality. A lot of people are traumatized. There's an estimated 1 in 3 females by the time they're 18 have had some kind of sexual encounter that was unwanted, and 1 in 5 men, 1 in 4 men, it depends on what study you've looked at, which is probably vastly underreported, actually, because men talking about sexual assault is it's shameful. There's a lot of secret around it. So it does affect our sexuality when we've experienced sexual trauma or physical trauma or emotional trauma of any kind. I'm Cathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com, and I'm here with Ashley Manta from ashleymanta.com. Hey, Ashley.
Hi. Hello, Cathy.
Hey. And both of us have experienced sexual trauma.
Yes.
I was abused as a child, and I know that affected me a lot when I was growing up. I was very sexually active in college, usually completely drunk. I wasn't present with my body. And then I kind of withdrew once I stopped drinking so much because it was painful. It was very penetration was incredibly painful for me, and the doctors really didn't know what to do to help me. They offered surgery, electric shock therapy, and drugs, and none of those were really what I wanted. I wanted to be present with my body. How did it affect you?
So I was actually raped twice. I was raped when I was 13 by an acquaintance, and I was also raped in 2009 by one of my very close friends that I was going to graduate school with. The rape when I was 13 really affected my sexuality because I was convinced that the only thing that I was good for was someone's pleasure, that I had no value as a person. My only value came from like what I could offer someone sexually.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time and a lot of therapy to kind of break out of that mold and feel like I was enough without having to be sexual with someone.
Yeah, it's hard. And how did that affect you? Like when you were being sexual after these events, how did it express itself?
I became hypersexual, so I was having sex very easily with people. I was not really discriminating. If someone wanted to have sex with me, generally I would have sex with them.
Yeah.
And during the act of sex, I was very much focused on their pleasure, because my worth was also linked to their ability to have pleasure and orgasm.
Yeah.
So I didn't focus on myself. I didn't feel like I deserved pleasure. So that took a long time to kind of break out of as well.
Yeah, you weren't centered on what your body wanted and you wanted as a being. You were focused on them. That's very common. Right. It's really empowering when people talk about this. I know for myself, I felt very isolated. There was really no one that I knew when I was first exploring this and realizing that how much it affected me. There wasn't a lot out there. I remember going to a bookstore in town. I lived in Ithaca at the time, and there were 2 books on trauma, on sexual abuse on the shelf, The Courage to Heal and One Rabbit Howled, which is a fictional book. And I just felt so alone. And now there's a lot of information out there, but I think it's really powerful when we talk about it, because a lot of people don't realize that, like for me, there wasn't information about why trauma would cause vaginal pain. Like it just, like the doctors they never, even though I shared I'd been abused, they didn't ever say that's probably a link. They just were dealing with the vaginal pain and trying to make it stop, rather than helping me reconnect with my body and enjoy that part. And now that I can, I'm like, oh my God, thank God I didn't follow the advice of surgery or numbing out down there so that I could enjoy having, or at least to be present. I think their goal was to get me to the point where I could allow sex, which is not what I want. Sex is something, our expression, it's to be beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you work through your traumas? And
It took so much therapy, and it took a partner that was really willing to be patient and mindful and check in with me frequently and keep me from dissociating, because that was kind of my go-to coping mechanism. My body would be present, but my brain would be over here.
Yeah.
And so having a partner that was constantly, encouraging me to check in and let them know what I was feeling really helped me reconnect with my body.
Yeah. No, I was really amazed. I was always like in my head or outside my head. And when I started getting more present, I was like, wow, sex is really amazing when you're actually in your body, when you're noticing the sensation of touching. It brings your partner more pleasure too. We talked about Reed in the last one, but he does this exercise sometimes at classes where he's like, try to touch your partner to please your partner, like, touch their arm to please them. And it's kind of, you're numb. You're not really like, you're focused on them, but there's not any chemistry there. And then he's like, now touch your partner to please your fingers. And you can't do that unless you're present in your body. But when you're pleasing your own fingers, it's hot for both of you. So I'm really delighted that you were able to get through that. I found a lot of help. I've done a lot of EFT, emotional freedom techniques, some tantra work. There's a lot of different ways to get connected to your body. But once you start getting through that, it's really worth it. So
absolutely. And talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing.
It gets the shame out of there. And if you can talk to your partner, even better. So thank you very much, Ashley.
Thank you.